Dun, 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 dun.
Unlike the first teaser or teaser trailer number one, whatever it was called, that came out a lot earlier for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where that one wasn't officially put up on the Netflix YouTube channel, even though this is an official Netflix production, I guess this trailer is higher status because this is the one that officially debuts on the Netflix YouTube channel. Again, odd that they wouldn't debut the first one there. It was on a bunch of backup channels. Maybe it was just on their... Maybe they forgot to upload it. Maybe it's on their website. I haven't looked. But, you know, here we go. I told you with the first teaser, I'm kind of like, well, I don't know. I mean, I haven't watched any of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. I don't think I would. I'm very... I'm tepid when it comes to stepping, in regard to the horror genre. I mean, I'm much more of a thriller person. I do like scary movies, but I'm not a gore person. And chainsaws, at least I don't know. That implication... I think it's going to be a violent watch. There were teases of that, at least in the first trailer, although I think they were still tamer than maybe this one will be. We'll see how far this goes. I did find it interesting, though, again, as I said in the first coverage I gave this movie. Again, I don't remember what that trailer was technically called. But as I said, this is going basically with the Halloween model, where Halloween, the movie series, at least when it was reborn, took the 1978 movie and said, okay, everything else after, 11 or 12 movies, those are all cut from the canon, we're going to start fresh. This is, of course, with Blumhouse's run with the movies, and now we are at Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, soon to have the conclusion, Halloween Ends. So again, just rebooted the series with that first picture in mind. And I think that's the same here. It might be the first two. I might have that wrong. I know it's at least the first... I forget when it came out, 1978, 1974, whatever the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out. Same thing, it's cutting out everything else and starting fresh with this Netflix production being the sequel. Okay, so here we go, the continuing adventures of Leatherface. We'll see how I fare. We're gonna go, it's nearly a 3-minute trailer. Oh boy. I will say, up front, in terms of getting me on board, rushing, my suspicion is that this is going to be a little too violent for me, so we'll see. Again, I'm going to test it, though. I'm going to let it try and have a chance to prove me wrong. Although my animus still is present with the Netflix platform, because that's what I've been saying. This won't get me to hop on anytime soon, even though, again, there's a lot of projects I do want to see on Netflix that I unfortunately won't at the moment because, again, of the whole Mignonnes, aka Cuties presence. Until that film was removed, I'm hoping that Texas Indictment goes, hopefully in my direction. I still wait. COVID delayed that. I'm just like, come on, can we get the case moving already? Because I want to hop on. Stranger Things, Cobra Kai, Squid Game, all these shows I want to watch, I can't. I even want to go watch Gerald's Game again. I can't do that. Because Cuties is still up there, and I'm not going to pay any money to a platform, at least that so overtly promotes exploitation of young children. That will be happening. But in terms of, getting me back on the platform, as I said, there's a couple other shows. This isn't the one I'm immediately jumping at. I'll give it a fair shake. Let's see what the trailer has to offer. We're going to go ahead and watch, again, I'm going to say this is trailer number 1. It might be relabeled differently when I go to edit this and post, or it might be the same. Again, I don't remember what that first trailer was designated. But let's watch this. We'll talk about it more in my condensed review segment. I want us watching the video together. Okay, here we go. Poor Texas. Yeah, see? Here we go. Suggestion. It's a broken window, so it's not a chainsaw. I imagine this is post-escape. Or is he in the car? Oh, there he is. He's a good place to hide. And that mask sort of camouflages in.
We have a vision for this place. All it needs is young blood.
I don't want to live here. This is a chance.
I wouldn't say it like that in the context of a horror movie, but okay, because that just sounds really bad.
Hey guys.
I'd find different wording. I mean, if you want to derail the tourists, keep going that way.
What are you doing in our house? You really shouldn't be here.
Okay. Oh, what? That's good. It's a good scare. See, there we go.
This is hardest to hear.
Hey, Don't Breathe was good. So there's obviously some knowledgeable talent within the horror space working on this.
50 years I've been waiting for this night. Just to see him again.
How similar is this to Halloween? Laurie Strode waited 40 years. This woman waited 50. Again, I imagine this is in the context of the original movie.
Looks like it's you that he wants.
I'm not gonna let him kill you. Fear no evil. Fear no evil.
Well, it's kind of what we do these days, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's gonna be a no from me. That's extremely demented. Well, I mean, you're talking about a murder, story, so obviously the antagonist of the story isn't gonna be too friendly. I personally, how similar is this to Halloween? Because that is like, well, even like in the beginning, I don't know, again, you can clearly tell, you can hear the breathing, this girl with the broken window, you're sitting there with your suspicion being he's hiding somewhere in this field of plants. And again, that's a good camouflage. There's some really good shots in here in regard to how some of the scares are positioned. It just goes a little far. But how similar is this to Halloween? Because at least in that opening scene, part of me was thinking, is this like a PTSD situation? Which, again, Halloween 2018, I haven't seen Halloween Kills yet, but Halloween 2018 I absolutely loved. Because, again, it went so far in the investigation. I think it was a very accurate realization of what somebody, 40 years of PTSD, being with the character of Laurie Strode in context of a 1978 story. It was very accurately depicted, and I absolutely loved watching it. I love Halloween 2018. I'm a huge fan of that one. This is, like, way too similar, though. I mean, again, my impression on the opening was PTSD, perhaps? She just escaped the house, and, Leatherface is just sort of a construct in her mind right now, but then literally, is out of the shrubs. But then they doubled down, and I'm assuming this woman later on, her, was she in the original movie? Is that the first character? Maybe, again, that was centered in the original picture, and 50 years, I guess, in the context of the story or so after she's come back to the house to face this guy again. It feels like a retread. I mean, in terms of, well, first, I'm like, okay, the Halloween idea in terms of the model of cutting sequels and then starting fresh, I mean, that's creative, but, I mean, it gives people, I imagine, again, a lot more freedom to run with a new story and to ditch maybe some pre-existent, not to assume the quality outright, because I don't know, but maybe just burdens in consideration. Because then you if you have a writer going in and being like, okay, well, I want to write a Texas Chainsaw story, but they have to keep in mind all of these story events from, I don't know how many sequels. I think Halloween's gotten more. It does add to, well, I can't exactly write a story that's completely fresh, right, rather than starting with just one movie. So again, I get the approach. I don't think Netflix has done any exclusives with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre brand yet. But it just feels way too similar to Halloween. Like, I gotta face him down in 50 years or so. It's just my assumption. Boasting some of the talent, though, here, I know Evil Dead is a revered name. I don't know it that well. Don't Breathe, I liked that movie quite a bit, actually. I haven't seen the sequel yet, but again, the sequel had a lot of promise. So again, I would believe, again, there's a lot of talent here, and it seems, again, the people who were involved with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from the original are coming back, so there's that consistency in brand. And maybe that comes to the violence, too. I don't know how decrepit the first couple of films go in regard to, hey, here's all the gore we can think of, doing it with a chainsaw and a hammer, and I'm like, I don't need to sit through that, thank you very much. Of course, I've blurred it for your consideration, because I try and keep content clean on here. Don't say I didn't give us a fair shake, but I would imagine, when I end up back on Netflix, I don't think this is a show that I will be watching. Positioning the end scene on a bus, that was clever, being like, okay, you're all trapped in here. And then the fact that they're all raising their phones. I mean, element of social commentary right there. Like, how often do we do that? In a horrific situation or someone's getting hurt, it's like, oh, everybody take out your phones and record. I mean, in terms of, like, gathering evidence, maybe somebody in the background doing that. But it's like someone, you know, up front, you should be getting involved. I would say to all these people, the minute you see some deranged lunatic with, I'm assuming, a skin mask, I don't know for sure, but that's just the way these things tend to go sometimes. It's of horror films I'm familiar with. I'm just making an assumption here. Again, I don't know. I haven't seen any of the original Leatherface-centered movies, so I don't know. But I wouldn't think most people would run at the sight of that and not be like, hey, you know, I'm going to do this for the views. Deranged guy with a chainsaw walks on the bus, could possibly threaten my life right about now. I don't know. And again, that was clever on the end, but I think it does go a bit too far. Does society really need... I mean, I get that there are gory horror films who are like, oh, come on, you know, you just need to be a little less critical there. But I'm like, well, you know, we already live in a society that's mad enough as it is. I mean, crazy times anyway. Do you really need a project with somebody, you know, going out murdering everybody with chainsaws? And then depicting that. It's not like they cut away from the shot. They depict it like in all its gory fashion. I mean, I don't want to... It's really morbid to me. Well... I considered it, and I think it's going to be a no. What are your guys' thoughts on this new reboot of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise? I mean, again, to go the Halloween direction of rebooting everything, and 86ing any project in between, it's an idea. I mean, again, it's like for a studio to be like, hey, maybe we can, you know, start... Well, studios obviously then get a bit of an advantage because, like, well, if the first film flopped, you know, like in the context of the first sequel, we can just redo it. No one will think any wiser because those stories will no longer be canon. You're like, well, okay, it's a bit of a cheat, but fine. I get it. I mean, it's creative, and maybe more horror films in popular franchises would do that. I mean, probably Friday the 13th maybe eventually might. Oh, I don't know. Maybe those films are a bit more revered, or Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know. You might see more of these projects coming forward that might go with this model, but maybe not so on the nose, though, because I see a lot of Halloween comparisons here, and, like, very direct ones. Not ones that maybe... I would have gone with something a little bit more fresh than where they went, because it felt like an absolute retread. But that's just my opinion. What are your guys' thoughts, though, of Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Let me know down below. Don't forget all the good stuff, but like, subscribe, to sharing that bell. Until we get to watch more, hopefully, edifying content, or at least maybe a horror film that's a bit tamer in its presentation, at least on the trailer anyway, in the future. I will see you guys at whatever point that happens to be, but for now, thanks for watching this video. I love you guys. Don't forget to love yourselves, your fellow man. God bless, and peace.